Hi there everyone, I'm back. A few of you have been asking where the hell I've got off to. There is regular content going on the channel. I do apologise, it's been a couple of months since I've posted something. It's basically just because work went absolutely manic and I couldn't manage the creating and editing alongside of the work commitments that I have. And while I'm building the company, unfortunately that has to take priority, which I'm sure you can understand. It does take a lot of time creating this content and editing it. So that being said, work is what it is. It's mad busy, and the nice problems that I have, touch wood, it'll remain and keep getting busier and busier and busier. We can grow and build, but I am putting some time aside now to create some content for the channel, and so some different things as well, because you don't want to just see me installing lights every video and things like that. So that being said, today's video we're putting some outside LED downlighters, so LED fire rated IP65 downlights going in soffits on a new build house on the ground floor outside, wrapping around the house. There's 10 of them in total. You'll see that job, I'll take you through that job and you'll see it. We just finished there today doing that new circuit. I'm back tomorrow doing 7 replacement decorative lights that the customer's providing. We're going to put them in. Now, I do provide minor work sets for if I put a new light up, even if it's light for light, I'm putting a decorative light up, I always provide minor work sets. I just think, it's good practice we should be doing. I know a lot of people say you don't have to do it and they don't do it, but I do. It just gives the customer something to hold on to, that, I've actually been there, done that work. And we should be testing, we should be getting our R1, R2s, we should be getting our IRs, our, testing our hurts and stuff like that. So, if we're getting them readings, why don't we just record them on a minor works? So, because I've installed this new circuit and I will be providing them with an installation certificate, I will be putting them the other lights on the install circuit tomorrow. So I'll just be providing readings on that particular circuit that we've edited, that we've altered in terms of, well, not altered, but we've replaced them lights on, and I'll be recording where we've replaced the lights, what the test readings were on that circuit, and going from there and putting it on that install set. Now as I say, sorry, someone's just pulling out of that car parking space. I will get into this one. So as I say, because I'm doing that, obviously there is, tonight, while we've obviously energized the outside lights, the new circuit that we've put in. So obviously we've now got an energized circuit, and we've not provided the client with the certification yet. So what I always do in that situation is I keep a live certificate. So we use the NIC EIC's cloud-based software. So what I do with that is I basically I open up a new cert, and when I open up that new cert, on the iPad or the laptop, whatever it is, I basically just record the readings for this circuit that we're energizing, and then save that. It's a live certificate that keeps going. For example, we had a job which we finished about 2 months ago. Probably took us about 8 months to a year to complete, just because it was an ongoing building. The builders were ongoing on it. It was an ongoing job. It was a rather large property, new build property that was going in. It was just a live certificate as we went round circuit by circuit, putting each circuit on. So live certificates kept. If anything happens tonight with that circuit, then I've got proof there. My backside's covered that I've done my testing, because I know there's a relatively low chance, but let's say something happens in that property tonight, and I didn't have anything in place, I'm banged to rights. So that's what I do anyway. If you want to take a bit of advice from that, then that's great. If you don't, or you don't see any need for it, then that's fine. But if you take some benefit from that, that's great. One thing I would say on the back of this video, or before I start this video, show you this video rather, is just a little bit of a disclaimer, and it's something that I'm passionate about because I lost my granddad to it a few years back. terrible way to lose somebody, or for somebody to suffer in the way they do. And it's just a little mention about asbestos. Obviously, we're cutting holes in soffits. This is a new build property that we're doing it in. It's been built in the last couple of years. We know, you know, with sort of a reasonable sort of accuracy, that there will be no ACIs, asbestos containing materials, within that property, because it's a banned substance. However, it is in older properties. It was put in older properties in its masses, and you should always be keeping an eye out for it. I personally, we get specialist companies in. If we're in doubt, specialist companies come in, provide surveys. If we're doing intrusive works, we get surveys done before we even start the job. Back to brick surveys, for example. Now, in my view, everybody should be doing this. It should be a cost that's passed on to the customer, and you should be explaining to your customer why you're doing it. Now, if you're not doing this, I'll leave it with you, but if you're not doing this, why aren't you doing it? It's, you know, you're not only are you risking your own health, you're risking other trades on site, you're risking other people that you're working around, your employees, and also your clients. You could potentially putting harmful debris into the air that other people are breathing in, not only yourself. So, you know, look after yourself, look after others. We should be treating as if we don't know, and also we should be getting reports done, surveys done by competent people. We all harp on that people should use competent electricians, rightly so. Exactly the same thing when it comes to things like asbestos. We should be using proper contractors, not taking risk. It is a massive myth when people go around on building sites, and we've all heard it before, you know what, brown's not as bad as blue, and you know, it's all harmful stuff. It's all the same. Just look after yourself. The main reason I say it on this video is, back in the day, my house in particular, built in the 50s, I think, that has it in the eaves and the soffits, AIB boards, asbestos board, which is, I mean, HSE have to be notified when any asbestos works is done on AIB boards, if I'm right, from my site managing days. I think it's a 14-day notice they got to do. So that's when they're removing them types of boards. You don't want to be cutting into it, especially with a hole saw when you're putting downlights into it. So obviously, I know with reasonable certainty that there's no asbestos content in this property when you see me drilling holes. However, if you're doing work on an older property, please bear in mind that you might be drilling into the AIB board, and just, you know, take the necessary precautions in terms of getting somebody to test it. And if it is AIB board, just don't be cutting into it, no matter what. Just do not be cutting into it. Can't stress that enough. Even if you have some PVC cladding, don't assume that PVC cladding isn't overcladding AIB board or asbestos content. It's just a little word of warning. I know I'm probably telling a lot of you how to suck eggs, but you know, it's a serious matter, and I just wanted to put it out there. I'm in no way an expert on it. I have done a couple of asbestos awareness courses, well, quite a few now. I think I've sat it about 7 times. However, you know, although I'm giving you some advice, please seek advice from you know, specialist contractors who do this type of work, because it is an important issue. So that being said, one more rant and then I'm off. This is a new build property. We all have heard in the news about new build properties, the amounts they pay the subcontractors. I've actually been on tendering lists for the electrical packages on some of these big home builders, and the prices that some of them go for is ridiculous. How anyone can do a half decent job to regulations is beyond me for them sorts of prices. But however, yeah, how anyone can do a decent job at them prices, I don't know. But however, people do. There is the argument that if you can't do a decent job within regulations for the price that you've sort of won the work for or quoted the work, just don't do the work. However, I do appreciate that people do it. You know, and I sort of understand in a way why corners are cut. In this property, for example, we haven't gone too into depth on the existing installation. We've only addressed our new cable for this new circuit into the board, and we haven't seen much of the existing circuit. However, just in the fuse board, we've had nothing is anywhere near torque tight. There's no labels at all on the board, so there's no test label the day it was tested, when the next test date is. No indication on who's performed the installation. There's also no RCD test notice. The client didn't even know anything about RCDs or that he should be testing them in his board, so obviously we're going to be educating them on that. There is a massive square hole that is being hacked out of the top of a brand new metal clad consumer unit, which is put in for fire safety reasons as well, let's not forget. And cables are just being dressed in, and shards of metal are sticking off the sides of that hole that's being thingied. So whenever this installation set's being done to pass this new installation, there is a box on there that talks about protection of cables as they enter a metallic enclosure. Somebody's told porkies and ticked that box when they've been doing this installation. That's all I can say. We have actually fitted some grommet tape around that, made sure that all them cables are fine, and we've also fire sealed it with well, I've had to in the end use fire foam to go around it, because you just wouldn't have got mastic in, the hole was too big. At the end of the day, we're fitting these boards for fire purposes, so fire prevention purposes. So massive holes in the board are just, you know, you may as well just be throwing plastic fuse boards in if that's what you're doing, in my opinion. So we've put it right. I'm also going to be putting a solid blank in it tomorrow. It's got them stupid pushing blanks, and I can't stand them. I always just think if someone comes across and flicks them out, then, you know, they can touch some live connections, live conductors. So I always replace them for the ones that sit on the buzz bar. Also, there's a big gap either side. It's a BG board, which might give you an indication to which house builder it is. A massive house builder in the UK, and the price that they charge for the homes and the price that they charge for extra works is scandalous when you buy your home. So that might give you further indication on who it is. This blank has been put in, and there's gaps either side of the blank. It's a BG board. We all have our opinions about BG boards. I have my particular opinions. I won't go too much into detail on them. But yeah, you'll see the video now. I'll take you through everything. Hope you enjoy it. Hope it's of some benefit to you, and I'll catch you at the end. Okay, so what we've got to remember is these eaves, a lot of people put down lights and eaves, and they don't check for any asbestos. Quite often it's got some what we call AIB boards, which is asbestos insulating board in soffits, particularly in older houses. So if you've got an old house, anything sort of before, I'd even go back, say 90s or below, just make sure there's no asbestos in this when you're drilling through it. This is a new build house, so we know, you know, we've got nothing in here. However, if you have got PVC soffits, it's always worth a note that you don't know what's behind these. They could have been overcladded, could be asbestos board behind there, so we need to make sure. Just going to drill this one out. Got my dade on the Al Milwaukee, and then I've marked it all out. Just going to drill this out, show you how to suck eggs, I suppose. And the idea is just to keep it going slow on the plastic. You don't want to snag on the plastic and end up marking it. So this one's ready, ready to go in, downlight, and I'm just going to wire this through now. I'm using a bit of trunking lid, I don't know whether you're seeing on the time lapse, because the cable tongue's good for getting around the corners of the property, which I'll show you now. So we've already got this one round, so to get round the corner onto that, cable tongue's been really useful, but it's not sturdy enough to go along. Once we're trying to get it along here, it's getting snagged in these little vents, so yeah, not the best. So I've just been opting for some MT4 lids, some just a little bit of mini trunking lids, which I'll show you here, just down on the deck there. been working a treat, to be fair. Just going back to the old school. Taking it back to the old school. Yeah, because it's got no rods in the van. Oh, I've got rods in the van, I just can't be bothered looking for them if I'm being completely honest. So I'm going to get on with dividing all these up. As you can see, I've put one in the ends over the door, so the customer ones, this side's going to be a little bit differently spaced. We're just going one above the door, one at the very corner, which is going to be exactly the same space from this one, so keeping that measurement neat. One over the door just to light that door area, that's where they're going to stop, and then coming down here we're just going to equally space them, so there's 5 going down here in total, 4 on the front, 1 at the side, because they've got a little outside light on the door, so we don't want to overcrowd that with light. So yeah, I'm going to cut these out, get these ones wired, and then we'll start connecting. Okay, so we've got all the lights in now, and well, apart from the last one, so what I've done with the last one, I've just put a Wago over the LAN and the earth, just so we can come back to board and do an R1, R2 before we put the lights in. Because we can't do an IR test with these lights in, with them being LEDs, with the LED drivers built in, I've actually, before I started second fixing, I did all my IRs, so got all my cables in situ, and I've done all my IRs, installation resistance tests, per cable, made sure all the cables were fine. I'm also just going to do a 250 with the 2 live conductors connected together to earth, so not between live and neutral, not between any of the live conductors to earth on their own, both live conductors together, so line and neutral together, and do 250 between that and earth. So that's the only installation resistance test I'm going to be doing with these lights actually connected to the circuit. Now, me telling you how to suck eggs, but these 2 solid leads, so when we've got to null our leads, because obviously we've got resistance in these leads, so using the solid parts, connecting the 2 solid parts together, so not like that, not like that. I've seen some people thinking they're doing it right with that. I was always told never to do these 2 adjustable ones. It's always the solid part of the crock clip you want together. So them 2 joined like that. See, we've got a reading there. I've just pushed the test button and we're down to 0. Right, so between line, I'll connect this on line and the other one on earth, make sure we got a good connection on there. You can see they're both on, and we're getting a reading of 1.31, so the camera's back to front at the minute just so I can see what I'm doing, but 1.31, which to be fair seems quite a bit high when you look at the milliohms per meter for what we've got, because the cable's only essentially going outside and it's running about maybe 5 meters, 4 meters, another maybe 2 down to each light. There's not an awful lot of cable on this. However, I have already done an R1, R2 from this switch, so I've got a few spare just above, if you can see here, just temporarily, because we're going to be putting a time clock on that, so we're going to be putting like a few spare with an incorporated time clock in there, probably on a time guard one, something similar, but I'll show you that on another video. So I've already done a R1, R2 from the load side of the switch, and it's about 0.6, I think it was coming out at 0.61, so I'm more than happy with the load side of that. It's just something going on in this fuse spare probably that's throwing that reading up, but it seems to be quite high, so I'm just going to whip that off and have a little look, see if I can get that reading down. But as I say, it's only temporary, so it's not concerning me too much. It's going to be well within readings once I get my live test and all that on. It's going to be well within what were we, 1.31. So however, you know, we want to make sure it's not in comparison to when you look at the milliohms per meter for the meterage of cable that we've got. It is out of sync, so that's why we do the test and we have a little look and we see that you know, how many meters we've got roughly, have a look if that reading corresponds to it, and then we can look for loose connections then. Quite a lot of people do test, and as long as it's within the permissible values in BS 7671, then they're more than happy to, you know, put the name to it and walk off. I'm always of the view that you should always be looking at what your meterage of cable is, and also having a look at the milliohms per meter, and then seeing what the reading you're actually getting is okay to what you think you've got in terms of meterage of cable. Obviously things like switches, things like that, accessories, can put things, can put readings on. I've actually connected in this fuse spare, for example. I know that I've done the 2 CPCs are in either connection, so it might be some resistance that's going on across that switch. So I'll have a little look at that now, see what we can, if we can get that down. But as I say, I'm not too concerned, but because I'm switching over to the time clock tomorrow, and I know that load side is sitting at 0.661. So for some reason, it's definitely got to be something in the switch, because that length of cable going into the fuse board's only about this big. But it's always good to check and be mindful of that, so you're not just going within the permissible readings. You're checking against the milliamps per meter. So, or milliohms per meter, sorry, in this case, because we're doing Z testing. Now, a little one for you. Massive gripe of mine, but I'm not going to go into it too much. This is a rather established house. When I say rather, it's one of the biggest house builders in the UK. Now, we've done tendering for new builds before. We've done some new builds, and I've got to say the pricing that the subcontractors actually do it for is horrendous, to say the least. So low the prices, and I really don't know how anyone can produce good work. And I've spoke to people who do this type of work, and it is literally just thrown in. I mean, this is one of the best, apparently the best house builders in the UK. And you can see that trunking coming in. There's absolutely no grommet strip around there. The board's just being literally hacked out. It doesn't even look like it's being done with a jigsaw. It's being hacked out. There's sharp metal shards and a bunch of cables is just coming in and sitting down into it. So I'll have to put some grommet tape around that. We're going to seal it somehow, just so that where these cables come down, it's all, you know, they're all protected as they come into the board. And basically, I'm just going to power this up now. Well, I'm not going to power it up. I'm going to connect it up into the board. I'm going to go down the other side. Say that again. Actually, I'm going to connect this last light up, come back, connect it into the board, and then I'm going to power it up. I've done all the testing, as I say, so we're going to power it up. It is just, as I say, the cables there live. It's just one cable at the end. The last light is live neutral left. The only reason I haven't connected the light up before I've done me R1, R2s and stuff is the fact that the light itself is pushing connectors, so you can't get your test probes in there. So I've just left it off, got the R1, R2 readings, and I'm literally just going to push the live neutral earth into the connections. They're already stripped back to the exact length, so I'm not taking anything off the cable, anything like that. So yeah, I'm going to get this connected up and see you in a minute. Okay, so this is the last light going in. As you can see, there's one cable that is just a line neutral and earth going in there. You've got the clamp on. Really like these looks on the lights, basically because this little bezel, you can spin that off and you can replace that with a chrome one, whatever you want. I think they're about £3. Just pushing connections. There's enough space for 2 twin innerts to go in there, and that just basically shuts over. If I've got one gripe about this fitting, this is a bit, when I say flimsy, this sort of snaps back a little bit, especially when you've got 2 cables going in there. You start to push it up into the hole and you can see it sort of comes off. So if anything, it's good light fitting, but try and sort that out, looks at it if you can. Be great then. So what I normally do, I try and just give it a little bend like that, and it will allow me to push it up without the cable actually pulling against this. It does actually come with a spare clamp. I normally, what I do, I clamp the cable down with the proper side down there, and then I normally put the other clamp on top just to act a bit of like you do with nuts, just to put like a locking nut on, just to act like a bit of a locking clamp to prevent the other one from popping up. But yeah, good little lights they are. I'll take it on a tour around them now. Okay, so all on, finished result. One over the door, a couple down here, 5 in total, so there's 5 in total down this elevation of the house. Just started lashing it down as well, so I've just got finished in time. 4 across the front of the house, and we just got 1 down the side here. Customers got their own lights here, so just one down the site just to lighten up this area around here. Got that test reading down to 0.61, so it was basically the same as the load. What was coming out of the fuse spare, so that's sound. I'd put them both the I put both the CPCs in the same connection in the fuse spare. I'd actually put them in either, so I don't know whether there's a bit of resistance. It seems awfully high though over the fuse spare, but that one's getting changed tomorrow for a fuse spare with a time clock installed in it. So yeah, these are all in, all tested, certified. Just need to, I'm coming back to replace a load of lights around the house tomorrow, so loads of decorative light fittings that the customer's got. So we'll put all the circuit schedules and stuff, stickers and whatnot on the board tomorrow. So yeah, that's it.